For most of human history, progress moved at the speed of muscle, wind, and water. Civilizations rose and fell, powered by human hands, animal strength, and the unpredictable forces of nature. Empires expanded slowly, goods traveled for months, and production was limited by how much effort a body could endure. The world was vast, time was slow, and ambition was constrained by physical limits that no one knew how to break. Then, quietly at first, humanity discovered a way to turn heat into motion. And everything changed. The steam engine did not arrive as a sudden miracle. It emerged from centuries of frustration, curiosity, and experimentation. Early societies had long understood steam as a force of nature, watching water boil and expand, but they lacked the means to control it. Ancient inventors toyed with primitive steam-powered devices, more as curiosities than tools of transformation. For generations, steam was admired, feared, and ignored, never fully harnessed. The idea that invisible vapor could replace muscle seemed almost absurd, yet that idea refused to disappear. By the late 17th century, Europe faced a growing crisis. Mines were flooding faster than human labor could drain them. Coal, the fuel of the future, lay trapped beneath layers of water and rock. Without a solution, progress would stall. It was desperation that forced innovation. Early steam pumps were clumsy, inefficient, and dangerous, but they worked just enough to hint at something bigger. Each improvement was small, almost unimpressive on its own, yet together they pointed toward a revolutionary truth. Energy could be manufactured. When engineers began refining steam engines, they unknowingly lit the fuse of the Industrial Revolution. James Watt did not invent the steam engine, but he perfected it, transforming a crude pump into a reliable, efficient powerhouse. His improvements allowed steam engines to operate continuously, economically, and safely. This was the moment when steam stopped being a novelty and became a force of civilization. Factories no longer needed rivers. Production no longer depended on seasons. Work could continue day and night, rain or shine. Cities began to change almost immediately. Small workshops were replaced by massive factories filled with machines that never tired. Textile production exploded. Iron was forged faster than ever before, and goods that once took months to create could now be produced in days. Steam compressed time itself. What had once been scarce became abundant. What had once been expensive became accessible. The world entered an age of acceleration. But the true power of the steam engine was not confined to factory walls. When steam met transportation, humanity broke free from ancient limitations. Steam-powered trains tore across landscapes that had resisted travel for centuries. Distances collapsed. A journey that once took weeks could now be completed in hours. Railroads stitched nations together, unifying economies, cultures, and ideas. For the first time, inland cities thrived as trade hubs, no longer isolated by geography. Steamships carried this revolution across oceans. Wind was no longer the master of maritime travel. Ships moved on schedule, independent of weather and currents. Global trade expanded at an unprecedented scale. Raw materials flowed into industrial centers, and finished goods flooded world markets. Empires grew richer, faster, and more powerful. The steam engine did not just move machines. It moved wealth, influence, and history itself. Yet progress came at a cost. As steam engines multiplied, so did pollution, overcrowding, and harsh labor conditions. Cities swelled beyond their capacity, workers toiled long hours, and the gap between wealth and poverty widened. The same machines that built prosperity also fueled exploitation. The Industrial Revolution reshaped society in ways no one fully understood at the time. It sparked labor movements, social reforms, and political upheaval. Steam forced humanity to confront the consequences of its own ingenuity. As industries expanded, so did scientific understanding. Engineers learned to measure efficiency, control pressure, and design systems with precision. These lessons became the foundation of modern engineering. Without steam engines, there would be no internal combustion engines, no power plants, no modern transportation networks. Steam taught humanity how to convert energy, how to scale power, and how to think in systems rather than isolated tools. By the late 19th century, steam engines had transformed nearly every aspect of daily life. They powered factories, trains, ships, and even early electrical generators. Entire economies revolved around steam-driven infrastructure. Nations that embraced steam surged ahead, while those that resisted fell behind. Power was no longer measured by land or armies alone, but by industrial output and mechanical efficiency. Eventually, newer technologies emerged. Electricity, oil, and advanced engines began to replace steam in many applications. But steam never truly disappeared. Even today, steam turbines generate a significant portion of the world's electricity. Nuclear power plants, geothermal stations, and thermal facilities all rely on the same fundamental principle discovered centuries ago. Heat creates motion, and motion creates power. The steam engine represents more than a machine. It marks the moment humanity learned to bend the laws of nature to its will on a massive scale. It was the first time we stopped adapting to our environment and began reshaping it. The modern world, with its speed, connectivity, and complexity, stands on foundations built by steam. Without the steam engine, there would be no modern cities, no global supply chains, no rapid innovation cycles. It accelerated history itself, compressing centuries of gradual change into decades of explosive growth. It turned humanity into a species capable of transforming the planet. And that raises an important question. If one invention could reshape civilization so completely, what does that say about the power we hold today? Are we prepared for the next transformation, or are we once again racing forward without fully understanding the consequences? The steam engine was not just the engine of machines, it was the engine of modern humanity. If you enjoyed this journey through one of the most important inventions in history, leave a comment with your thoughts. Share what invention you believe changed the world the most. Subscribe for more deep dives into humanity's greatest breakthroughs, and don't forget to like the video. History moves fast, but together we can understand how we got here.